screen there. All right. It's the last live class. Woot woot. You are in week 4. We are down to the final 4 days, including today. So I want to emphasize that. Thursday, 10 o'clock, not 12 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Classes shut down at 10 o'clock for all online classes. I don't choose the time. That is the time. That is all online classes. So 10 p.m. Okay. So I'm going to drop that right down here. 10 p.m. Thursday 4/30/26. Class ends and locks. All right. So I've been saying this since last week. It's been going out in emails and texts. So everybody has received these. If you read them or not, um, that's been up to you, but it's there. It's in both the audits for the emails and texts. So if you haven't been paying attention to that, that's unfortunate, but it doesn't change the time that the class ends. Okay. So that means anybody who is using those extensions, I did put in extensions for everyone for the week 3 assignments. Thank you. And except for discussions, discussions do not get extensions. Okay. If you're hearing some strange noises, I have some large sandtail cranes running around in my backyard right now. I do apologize for them, but nature is what nature does. Anyway, getting back to those extensions also end at 10 o'clock. Okay, everything does. So any work that includes chapters, discussions, any of the projects, and that final exam not only have to be completed and submitted by 10 p.m. Okay, sending something to me in an email or trying to text something to me after 10 o'clock, I do not open them. Okay, and it's not me trying to be mean, but if I'm taking something for you, but somebody else doesn't turn something in because they don't think that it'll be accepted, it's not fair. Everybody has to have the same amount of time to work on everything. So 1 minute after 10 o'clock, it will not be accepted. All right, everybody has that? Yes, yes, everybody understands. 1 minute after 10 o'clock, it's after 10 o'clock. Things start shutting down. Now, if our class is right there at 10 o'clock or it's a couple of minutes after 10 o'clock, that is a system thing. Everybody understands that. Looking for those emojis because even if you don't flag it as understanding, it's going to happen. Okay, I can't stop that. The reason why I can't give extensions beyond that, you will not be able to get back into the class anyway. I could put an extension in, you can't access the class. All right. So what happens at 10 p.m. is we start finalizing all those grades. Once we send them over, then what happens? This class will be cleared. All right. Every month that this happens, the Friday afterwards, somebody says, I had to work late. This happens, blah, blah, blah. I thought I won the lottery, and then I realized I only had one number. All right. No matter what happens, there is no class for you to get into, no extensions. Okay. Your internet going down, this, that, it doesn't matter what the excuse is. There is nothing for you to go into. There is no assignments. Plan ahead. Don't run everything up to the end. If you think that you may have a system problem, internet problem, go to the campus. The next excuse is, I don't have transportation. I don't have this. I don't have. If you had an on-campus class, you would have to go to the campus and make sure you plan ahead. This was part of the reason why these assignments opened on Friday, and I started telling you that they would open on Friday the week prior to that. So please, I'm telling you, make sure you have your ducks in a row. All right, everybody got that? So I can get off that soapbox and we can move forward. So if you missed something from week 3, you got time to get it done. We're going to move on into week 4 so we can have everybody doing what they need to do, right? Everybody good with that? Yes, yes, yes. Let's see those emojis. Yes, yes, yes. And I actually have some people who have already finished the class. I'm very proud of them. You know who you are. I won't call you out by name. Wink, wink, I know who you are, and did it exceptionally. Very proud of some of these people and very proud of all the people because you've gone this far. And so I want you to think about this. You came into a class you really didn't want. You want to go, went online, but you really didn't want. You learned skills such as being able to use Teams effectively, learned how to move around in an online class effectively, learned an online book effectively, learned these programs so far to date. You've got Word, Excel, plus learning how to move around in Windows, and you are flying through this and doing it very well. And when you put things down on that resume, make sure you list those programs individually and these skills, because these skills get you ka-ching, ka-ching, and who doesn't like ka-ching, ka-ching, all right? Because those skills are known as soft skills, and they are desired, all right? When you put those down on those resume, make sure you list them because these skills are wanted in every one of your careers. So make sure you do have those listed. So now I'm going to do some screen share. Here we go. My coffee cup out of the way, but not too far because coffee is an essential part of life. All right. So I'm going to view this as student so that it looks the way you all see it. All right. So here we go. We are all the way down in our final week. So I'm going to jump down into the modules. One of the things, check those grades. I sent messages out to people who were at 65 and below. I want everyone, this to be a one and done class. I don't want you to have to repeat it, okay? Repeating classes is never fun, especially when you have to come back and do the class and you have to do all those assignments again. I don't want that for people, okay? Usually if somebody does not pass a class, it's merely they didn't do the assignments. Not that they did them incorrectly, they just didn't do it. Usually not going into the assignments and simply just not doing it. Don't do that, all right? So we're down here. We've passed everything up. We are right in here past week 3. Student survey. I know you've seen them pop up at the top of the screen so that those student surveys there were typically for the campuses. This is our student survey for online. Click on that. It's going to take you to a Survey Monkey. And you'll see my name's right there, Ronald Haley, Mr. Haley. I've been called Mr. H. I've been called horrible things, but my mom can be cruel sometimes, so we don't always pay attention to her. So, but that's me. And your course, right down here. Boom, COC100, Haley, check that. The rest of the questions, or actually all the questions, I don't see the answers on. So please, whatever you do, answer honestly. Things you like, things you don't like, whatever they ask, I haven't paid attention to what they're asking. So please answer those honestly. Make your voice heard. This is how courses get changed while you're here at Southern Tech. That's why some of the assignments are the way they are. If you'll notice down here in week 4, it looks very scary because you're going to see that there's 4 chapters. And instantly I have some people go, oh my God, there's 4 chapters, there's 4 chapters. I'm going to jump ahead right here. I want you to look at chapter 3 when we go into it. There's only 8 items in chapter 3, and some of these are one-click items, and you are done with them. I would never give you in your last week a full set of items inside that particular set of assignments, okay? I'm not that cruel. All right. I know if I give you 22 items in that chapter, that would be absolutely horrendous. So that was chapter 4. And if we look at chapter 3 in here as well, you'll see that only has 8 items as well. So those 2 chapters are very small compared to a typical chapter. The only reason why I added those items in is because they're going to be things that you could potentially use for your project. All right. And your project is going to be in PowerPoint, and I think you'll find, as most students do when you do it, it's going to be a lot more fun than anything else we've done in the class because you get to be a little creative. Okay. The hardest part of that particular assignment is getting you to not do too much. All right. So I'm going to shrink these down so I don't have to scroll so far. All right. So still do this self-evaluation, even though you have the extensions if you need them. It's going to get you 100 points, and it's going to make sure you have attendance tonight. You still need to have attendance. Okay, Chris, your screen is frozen. Back out and make sure that you are in Chrome. If you're not in Chrome, it will run quicker, and then go back in and reselect and rejoin. Is everybody else's screen moving okay? Thumbs up. Your screens are moving okay? If not, somebody let me know if your screens are frozen as well. Screens moving good? Anybody? All right. I see those going perfect. See Kayleen's typing. All right. Okay. So now that we got that in, please do that self-evaluation. I hear someone's mic. All right. Okay. So that self-evaluation, get those points, get that attendance, easy way to catch that up. Your discussion, PowerPoint in your career. Now, many people are going into welding, they're going into electrical, they're going into HVAC. We have a lot of government contracting in the state of Florida. There's a lot of research that goes on. We have marine biologists, we have a lot of aeronautical, besides our space program, etc. There are a lot of facilities that you do not even realize. Some people don't realize that there is a huge aeronautical division just out past Auburndale. You go right off the highway, you go around and around and through some trees, and you'll end up in a very large aeronautical division over there. How many people did not realize that? There's some big situations down in the Miami area, the Homestead area, et cetera, et cetera. But the thing that a lot of these military installations and government-backed contractors do, they love PowerPoint. It's a great way to explain things because it's visual as well as explanatory. So how many people are visual learners? Should be a big show of hands. We like to see things as we're learning, right? This allows that. But at the same time, it can go along with your resume. You're excellent at doing very clean lines with those wirings. You don't do spaghetti wiring in those breaker boxes. Okay. You have incredible, you know, circuitry, things like that. You can show that. And it works out great in a PowerPoint. Okay. If you're explaining to a client how you're going to set up their HVAC system, things like that. PowerPoints work out well. The other thing is some people want to do their own business. You can demonstrate your business in a self-running PowerPoint, and you can set up a table at a trade show, etc. That moving presentation stops people. You stop people, you can sell your business. You can show your business. And again, that brings money into you, gets you where you need to be. So what starts off as something, I don't know why we're doing it, becomes a very important tool. And you know, tools are what we use in our lines of work. And it doesn't matter if it's a scalpel in the medical field or if it's a blowtorch over here. Tools allow us to get our work done. So I want you to look at this. I always add things in here to explain different ways that you can use these in your career. And these are just some ideas. And when I give you these things, I always want you to expand, use your thoughts, because I guarantee you, you have some incredible ideas that I would never dream of. And always trust you. If I can instill anything out of this class besides some of these skills, I want you to trust yourself, believe in yourself, and go with your instincts, because these things are going to get you far. Put those with your skills and your talents, okay? Those will get you places because that's what they're hiring you for. A lot of people can do A and B, but it's that thinking, that uniqueness that will get you far. And that's where some of this is going to come out in this project and that we're going to be doing here. So I want to know how presentations can be used in your career, such as welding, HVAC, electrical. How can you use it? Provide some examples how they might support your tasks like training, client communication, safety. I want you to think about that, how you can use that. Okay? Think about those lockout tagouts. Think about showing how to do those perfect welds. Think about, if you're in the veterinary field, how to do those holds when you're working with dangerous animals. All right? It becomes critical. I work with venomous snakes sometimes, teaching somebody how to work with one before they physically have that snake in their hands is something that's critical. All right? So I want you to think about that and answer that question. 3 posts. Again, I had a large number that had no post, lost 100 points. 1 post lost 80 points. 2 posts lost 60 points. Okay, I want to give everyone full 100 points, but I can't do it if you don't do your share. All right? Okay, then we have the chapters. Again, if you get really stuck on an item, email me, text me, let me know what you're stuck on. I'll help you out. Don't just leave things empty. Let me know what's going on. But it can't be, hey, I couldn't get the last 15 of them. All right? Because I do check your audit to see which items you actually did attempt, how many times you attempted them, and what you did. All right? I do check that because SimNet's a tattletale. It logs every keystroke you did. Okay? Now, how many people are ready for that project? See what you're doing in there and that final exam. Anybody scared about the final exam? Because we do have one. It's not like the midterm. We don't skip that. Anybody nervous about the final? Nope. Good. It's only 500 questions. Yeah, Kayleen's laughing. I know why you're laughing. Okay, so the final exam's only 25 questions because I didn't want the final exam to be your whole grade where somebody didn't work and they come in and they take one test and they pass the course. That's not learning. Or one person works their entire course, and because they get so nervous on a test, they blow it. But this is the final exam, okay? You get 3 full attempts to do it, but before you retake the final, please reach out to me. I may not want you to do the whole final, and I have my reasons if I tell you not to. I'll tell you how to handle it. You'll click Take the Exam, and then you'll have to click this little square saying that you could not get somebody to take it for you, and you'll click Start the Exam. Now, this is going to look like your quizzes. You do not have a help over here. It'll tell you what question number you're on, and you'll have 5 attempts to do each question. Okay, it will tell you which item you're on, and it will tell you up here what you're expected to do. Okay, now in here, I want you to disable the protected view. And so right here, it says you are in protected view. And what you're supposed to do, click Enable Editing. Boom, you got it correct and continue. Now you can work together. You can meet up and help each other out like you would in real life. But remember, you're not going to get the same questions at the same time. So don't just say, hey, do this for question number 2, because that person's question number 2 and your question number 2 can be entirely different. Only 500 rookie numbers. Yeah. That's too funny. So some of these are going to be what you might consider a little bit on the not as difficult side. Notice I don't like to say easy. Please don't get in the habit of saying easy when it comes to learning, because remember, what's easy for you is not easy for the next person, and what they find easy might not be easy for you. Everyone has different learning strengths and weaknesses. And by working together, that's how you build strong teams when you're out there in the workforce. All right, click the ribbon. Remember, this whole area is the ribbon up here. So if we click on it, boom. Now, everybody got their hair done perfect. I spent hours on mine. Got your face ready. Everybody's ready to Vogue with Madonna there, right? Okay. What happens if you get it wrong? You go clicking. There's that incorrect thing, and there's that hint that we could not give you. You pull out that phone. Don't be snapping those selfies. We know you're pretty. You didn't get ugly since the last one. Take a picture of that hint, not yourself, okay? You got time to make that Christmas card later. Take a picture of that hint before you click continue. This is going to tell you what you need to do right there, all right? And the reason why you're going to do that is you're going to follow that through. You will still need to do the steps and know where this information is. You need to have to be able to follow it. Every one of your careers, you need to be able to follow step by detailed step. That means reading every instruction. All right? How many of you like to skip things as you read when you do those instructions? Because I know who does and who doesn't, because I've seen the grades. All right? Read the detailed instructions and follow them. Those critical instructions become possibly life and death when you're doing them in your career. Be detailed oriented. Don't skip steps. Okay? Once you got that, click continue, follow them, get it right. When you're finished, click submit in that upper right hand corner, then submit exam, and it will tell you what you got right. If you think one of these was graded incorrectly, let me know which answer or which question it was. Send that over to me in an email or a text, and let me take a look. And if I see over here how you did it, and I see what the question was, I might go, okay, I see why you thought that's what it was asking. You might still get the point. Everybody understand how that works? Yes, yes. Looking for those emojis. Everybody's got that? All right. That's how you do your final exam. There's no time limit on it, but if you go into it and then back out, it's going to take away one of your chances. And the next time you go in, you're going to get different questions. So there's not a benefit to going in and trying to preview it. You'll also notice this page is not printable. You go in here and try to print these things. You're not going to get the same things anyway. You're not gaining anything. All right. Save yourself the trouble there. Okay. Now for the fun one. Our project. Okay. So our project's going to be done in PowerPoint. Please do not use Canva. Do not use any other presentation. Use PowerPoint. Okay. If you do something else and convert it, sometimes it doesn't convert correctly, and you can find yourself into all kinds of headaches. And when you're in the last 4 days, you don't need headaches. All right. Okay. 8 slides. You must have the 8 slides. You drop one and you end up with 7 slides or 6 slides. It's going to impact your score drastically. Okay. And I have PowerPoint shells created for you. You don't have to use them. I strongly recommend you use them. If you are creative and you have the time and you want to do it, absolutely do it on your own. Do not go to AI and generate it. It will leave markers in there, and if found the last day, right before 10 o'clock, it could be rejected and you won't have time to create another one. Don't do that. Do me dirty by using AI to create it in the last part of it. It's going to get rejected. All right? Don't do that. I try to help you all out here by giving you as much as I can. Okay, find your career. And I have a little shell built. They're almost built identical. You can do your own as long as you include the same information. So I'm going to pick on welding. Now, sometimes when I go to click here, it does take too long to generate it. It actually generated quickly this time. Now, this is the 8 slides before you enhance them, okay? So the first slide's going to have the title, your name, your date. You're going to do an overview where you give a description of the welding. Now remember, this is telling you what you're going to add in. You're going to replace this with your information. Skills and education, tools or equipment, job duties, salary information, job outlook and growth, and why you chose it. 8 slides. Okay, that's what you're kind of going to have. And the reason why I give you this is because one of the hardest things to do is sit there and stare at a blank PowerPoint screen trying to figure out what to do. Okay, so how you're going to begin is you're going to click on that little down arrow next to it. And what it's going to do is it's going to download it. I'm going to download it to my desktop to a folder named Demo. Wherever you download it, make sure you know where that is because you're going to have to open it back up. We're going to go to the student portal. Microsoft 365 is where you're going to click. And if you haven't been in, you'll be prompted for your student ID and password. I've already been in here. My apps are down in the lower left-hand corner. Yours could be somewhere else on the screen. I'm going to click on apps and then more apps. Once I do that, then whoops, apps, and then my more apps, and I am looking for PowerPoint, which is red, and it's going to open it up. Where it says upload a file, I'm going to click that, and I'm going to go to my desktop demo, and I'm going to find my shell that I downloaded and say open. And it's going to open that in PowerPoint here. And there's my slides right there, 8 of them. Now, that's not exactly exciting here. So I can go over here to design, and you'll see some colors here. And if I click on the down arrow, you'll see I've got some other choices. So I can pick one of these, or you can actually create your own slides with the same information. Okay. And I'm going to pick on this one. This one's a different one. I haven't done this one before. And then now that I've got this, I can actually come in here and I can click back on design here, and I can start looking for maybe some different colors to add in here. If I wanted other colors, I could go in here, but while I'm in here, I could check to see if there were other colors. I can add a background. So this is what I've got right now. And this is a little big here. It's kind of running on. So I'm going to hold down my left mouse button. This part's okay. I'm going to hold it down and highlight this. And then I'm going to go to home. And that's at a size 48. I'm going to shrink this down. See if it fits with 40. It does not. 36 was a little big. I'm going to go 32. That fits. I'm going to click on your name, hold down my mouse button, and say Mr. Haley. And then for the date, I'm going to put 4/27/26. Now, my title page is actually kind of complete. Part of the specs when we look at them is that a minimum 1 picture per slide at different fonts, colors, etc. Make this your own, okay? So we want to see different things added into here. So that's something that, we really want to see added into here. Let me get back to my PowerPoint here. I've lost there we go. Okay, so if I'm on this screen, I can go over here to design. And one of the things that you can see is background. Now for background, what you can do is I can click solid fill and I can change that to this beautiful orange color. But I can also come up here, and if I click to the right, I can change that to any color that I want. But another thing that you see under here is insert picture, where it says picture as background. And so I can go here and I can do stock images. And I can go through here and I can type in welding. And it found some pictures in here. And so I'm just going to pick on this one and I'm going to say insert. And automatically I now have a picture for my background, but I can't really see my wording too much. But I can take a look over here and go to designer and see if it comes up with some ideas. Not the best. It's not really showing that with that in here. But on my background, by right clicking here, sometimes when I come here, it will let me fade this picture out. So that's sometimes some of the things that I can do. It's not giving me that choice. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to change that font. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to come over here to my font color and I'm going to brighten that up. Let's see if a yellow will work. that worked. Highlight that, and I'm gonna increase that. See if that works a little bit better. And that kind of stands out a little bit more. Now, for overview of the career, you can do things like this where a description of welding, please feel free to go out to the internet and type in things like origins of TIG welding. And you can bring this in. Please make sure you do give credit when you bring stuff like that in from the internet so that we know where that did come from. Let me go back here. And then I can paste that in here. And then what I want to do is I want to make sure that this is easily readable. And so I'm going to change the font and I'm going to change the size of it. Usually to 14 is a normal font size. So I'm going to be adding in this text. I do want to change my background here. And again, I'll go to the design, I'll go to the background, and I'm going to do a solid color background. And I'm going to put a light color in the background so that things stand out. And then what I'm going to do here is instead of going out here, I'm going to go here and under this on Google, I'm going to go to images. And I'm actually going to find, this is a good one on TIG welding here. I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy the image, come back here, right click and paste that picture in. And it's going to drop that in. It's too big. Grab that corner, slide that down. And I can move this picture in. You'll see those crosshairs are helping me line it up until I get it centered where I want it. And that's how you put those pictures in the presentation. Now I want you to look over on the right-hand side. Seems to skipping on your end too, Nathan. Okay, it could be a slowdown on the system as it's transmitting. Okay, so now that this is here, if designer's not open on your PowerPoint, click on it and look to the right. It will give you ideas on different ways to display it. And I kind of like having the picture on the left and my wording on the right. If I just click there, it will automatically move everything over for me. Now, if you notice, I do have to go back and put that background back in. So I'll just go back here, put that background in solid fill, and it'll drop it right back. But this is laid out a little bit better. Okay, so is everybody seeing this image on the screen here? With the TIG welding, etc. Yes. Okay. So that's what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going through and you're kind of populating each one of these slides and filling in the information. You get to choose your wording. You get to choose your backgrounds. You can choose anything you want for the information. Okay. You have all those choices. If you didn't like the wording here, you can come in here and I could say, I want a different font. I want it to look like that. I want this word here to be a different color, and you can pick that color. You have creative control over what you're putting in here. It is a visual project. Put relatable pictures. Don't just go through here and have 8 slides of pictures or pictures that don't relate to the words you're putting in. Okay, so if you wanted to do backgrounds, I want you to think, if I was watching this, how would this look visually? So if I went through here, and the question is about the background colors. So if I put a solid fill background here, and I want to make this background, say this color here, how would I feel about that watching this? Okay, so maybe that wouldn't be the best color to put on there. Or what if I put maybe this color here and then went here to the next one and then changed this one to this color? But these are in the same kind of color family. Those might go well. So maybe I might want to come back here to this one, and for this color, because I do want some variations, maybe change this one. So see, even though the colors are changing, because they're in the same family, it's not shocking. So you can make the colors different, or if I put in another picture, make the colors match the picture. So it's kind of pleasing to the eye. Your background color doesn't have to match all the way through, but you either want it to kind of be in the same family slide to slide, or you want the colors to match your wording and your picture as you present it. Does that make sense, Nathan? You want it to be cohesive as far as in you don't want everything to be, oh my God, this is red letters on a purple background, and then the next one's this and this. Otherwise, if you're trying to watch it, it's just not going to be pleasant to watch. Okay? So as you're building this, then how you run it, you go to slideshow and you do from beginning. And your presentation's going to display. And you can move it forward or backwards with your arrow keys, or you can scroll with your mouse, or you can hit the return key on your keyboard and it'll scroll through all your slides. To get out, you press the escape key and it'll take you back. Now, if you want to enhance it even more, you can click on your slide, starting with your second one, and you click on transitions and this little down arrow, and you'll see a whole bunch of different effects. We're going to click on fracture here. We'll click on this one here. We'll make that one an airplane. This one here. Let's see. We'll do a vortex. This one here. We'll do a conveyor. And these are optional. You don't have to do all of these, but sometimes people like to do some kind of fun things here. And let's see some different ones. We'll do a comb. Let's see what else we got. Okay, so now that I've got these transitions in here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a slideshow. Starting here, we'll do a slideshow from beginning. And when we go to our second slide, watch what happens. You see that fracture effect as everything falls apart. And we go to the next one, you see that airplane zoom off. And then you get kind of that scattering effect there. And then that was a kind of like the conveyor belt, etc. So your screens can change differently. And so when you're doing your presentations, that gives people a little more visual effect, something to keep them a little more interested in what's going on. So think about those. If you're trying to use something to capture someone's attention, keep them interested. Now, there's this very specific reason why I chose 8 slides. And you'll go into some of the people's classes here at Southern Tech, and they will have a 15 or 20 slideshow presentation. Have you ever sat through one of these real long slideshow presentations? I mean, really long slides. Yeah, it's not exactly fun, is it? Once you start going much further than 8 slides in, you start getting 10, 12, 14, your audience drops. So try to keep them a little more on the lower side. And you add those in, that will keep them interested, keep them watching, keep them visually interested in what's going on. Okay. Now, are you kind of getting the gist on what needs to go into this slideshow presentation? What you can do, you can also draw. People who have a touchscreen, who have a stylus, you can come in here. You can draw anything you want on your slides if you're good like that. You can import, if you have your own pictures, your own photos, you can insert. You can click on pictures and you say this device, you can upload them. So if you want to use your own photos that you've taken related to the career, feel free, upload those. That's a great way to put that in, okay? What I would not recommend, do not add audio cues in. You do not have to narrate. You do not have to speak. Everything should be visual and your information added. All right, when we did this class live on the campus, you actually had to give the presentation. You had to stand up in front and speak while you did your slides. So you do not have to do that. All right. Any questions? Everybody's good? Yes? Everybody's good? All right. Have fun with this. Now,
The project is the one that I have a little issue with.
what was that?
The project.
Yes, this is the project.
Yes, those are the one that I have a little
Yeah.
issue.
Okay.
I need
So
help with those.
that's what we just did. We just went through how you add the stuff into the project. We just went through step by step adding the stuff in. Okay. Now, to save your project, click File, create a copy, download a copy, and download it. Okay. And then make sure you know where you save it to. I'm going to save it right back to my demo, and I'm going to call it finish so that I can make sure I know where it is. The reason why you really want to make sure that you know how to save it and upload this one is because it's a little more difficult if you try to email. And the reason being is some email accounts, if you're trying to send it, they do not have enough bandwidth to be able to email some of these presentations. If you add a lot into it, you will not have enough ability, especially if you try to send it from a personal account. So please be careful with that. So now that you have it saved, go back to your project, click Start Assignment, click on the little rocket, find where you saved it on your system, say Open, and then Submit. okay? And that's how you do it. But start with that shell there. Click on that little down arrow, save that particular one for your career, and then go into uh, where you were through the student portal, Microsoft 365, apps, more apps, then go into PowerPoint and upload that shell. Start from there and just add in the missing information. That is the easiest or more simple way to start your presentation. And upload, pick that file, and that's going to load that empty shell in and just fill in the information. All right. Any other questions? Everybody's good? All right. That is it. That is the final uh, project. That's how you do it. I'm going to be uploading this as soon as this finishes, and I'll be sending the link through text and email. And that is it. I want to make sure everybody is good so that we'll have everything out there. Everybody's finished before 10 o'clock on Thursday. And everybody finish big, finish strong. You've been working hard for your grade. It's almost over, and then you'll find out from your campus what your next class is. And I want you to continue and finish everything out, get that degree, that certification that you want, get the career that you deserve, that you've been working hard for. I really appreciate you taking this class and going as far as you can. You've been incredible. Just keep believing in yourself and trusting in yourself. All right. Y'all have a great one, and we'll see you out there and on campus. Have a good one. Thank you. Y'all have a good one. Bye.